From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. A Fairbanks man was arrested Friday in what appeared to have been a love triangle turned deadly.
35-year-old Leroy White was arrested on charges of first-degree murder in the death of his ex-roommate Donald McLean. Authorities responded last Tuesday to a 911 call to Rickert Street apartment where they found McLean had been bludgeoned to death and wrapped in blankets. According to the police reports, the 911 caller Sonia Rupke had been dating both McLean and White, and had children with White. Rupke said White had found text messages between her and McLean. According to charging documents, White admitted to going into McLean's apartment to talk and said McLean attacked him and may have had a firearm. White said he picked up a piece of pipe and to defend himself and struck McLean several times until he stopped moving. White's next court date is February 3rd.
The Alaska Legislature enters its second week of session and the focus remains on budgetary issues. The Senate is taking an aggressive approach, beginning subcommittee work ahead of the House. Generally, the House works the budget and sends a bill to the Senate. The Senate Finance Committee heard from Department of Revenue Commissioner Randall Fbx on the latest Standards & Poor's report. The agency downgraded Alaska's general obligation debt to AA+, down from a rating of AAA. S&P pointed to falling oil prices and concern over the state's ability to respond quickly to its fiscal crisis as reasons for the downgrade. Fbx told committee members that policy changes are needed to reverse the trend. However, they questioned whether a credit rating agency should be driving state policy.
The trump card, oh my gosh, we can't change anything that's going to affect our bond rating. We determine the policy of the state of Alaska, the fiscal policy as well. And we have to be mindful of what they say, but they're not going to run our direction.
The Alaska House of Representatives unanimously approved a bill today to support Alaska's military families by setting aside November 1st each year as Military Family Day. House Bill 175 would tie into November being federally recognized as National Military Family Month. The bill now heads to the Senate for consideration. Alaska is home to a large number of military installations, including Fort Wainwright, Fort Greely, and Eielson Air Force Base here in the interior. Thousands of servicemen and women are stationed here, and they represent a significant segment of the state's economy. Most importantly, they're tasked with defending the freedoms Americans enjoy every day.
The strength of the nation is its army. The strength of the army is the soldier. The strength of the soldier is his family, and it's his or her family. So it's appropriate to set aside a day to honor military families.
A 7.1 earthquake struck the Alaska coast at 1:30 in the morning yesterday. The shake occurred about 60 miles west of Homer, but was felt all over Anchorage and even up here in Fairbanks. There have been around 30 aftershocks, the largest of which had a magnitude of 4.3. No injuries were reported, but around 20 homes in Kenai had to be evacuated due to house fires and gas leaks caused by the quake. There was also damage done to the Californsky Beach Road, and power outages affected more than 10,000 homes across south central Alaska.
This earthquake was unusual in a sense that it was so large. Its location is not unusual. We have lots of deep earthquakes in Cook Inlet region all the time, but magnitude 7.1, that probably was the most significant earthquake in Cook Inlet since 1964 earthquake. Many aftershocks are still continuing, and lots of those aftershocks are still being felt in Kenai communities.
I actually felt that when it happened. That was crazy.
I was sleeping. I didn't feel it at all.
Well, I'm a night owl, so I was still up, but man, I was so far away to feel that from that far away. Interesting. All right. When we come back, the Department of Transportation is proposing the closures of maintenance stations throughout the interior. We'll have details on that.
Also, another scam has been reported in the Fairbanks area, and it's becoming quite serious. Those stories and more when we return. Stay with us.
Welcome back. The Northern Region Department of Transportation held its latest public meeting on the proposed closures of several maintenance stations in the interior. Ryan Grimes was at the meeting held at the Noel Library today and has the story.
The latest meeting by the Alaska Department of Transportation on the proposed closing of several maintenance stations in interior Alaska did not bode well for attendance. However, one local representative from Public Employees Local 71 made sure to attend nearly every one of the 7 meetings that were held. Representative Jordan Adams was at the meeting today to hear from Northern Region Director David Miller about why DOT is preparing for the closures. Adams also attended DOT meetings held last week at Northway, Tok, Chittenden, and Valdez. He says about 17 full-time and 5 part-time workers will be in trouble if the department closes the maintenance stations in 2017.
Looking at shutting down stations, where are these personnel going to go? Where can they move to? In a lot of these communities, they're very small communities. There may not be other operating jobs, other mechanic jobs in the immediate area. So these will be life changes to individuals.
Miller says that DOT heads don't have much choice. In Governor Bill Walker's proposed 2017 state operating budget, the department will need to balance out a $12 million cut to operations.
About 3/4, would be laid off. Other ones will be relocated to adjacent stations to help, amplify the response into the area we just vacated. And they really are our most valuable resource. Just think of the person coming down the highway towards you in a plow truck. You want somebody who's run that route, a couple hundred times, or you want somebody who's it's their first time?
Adams says that the next step for Local 71 is to reach out on behalf of maintenance workers to the state legislature, which has the final decision on how exactly DOT will be funded next year.
We got a lot of good House representatives and senators up in our area. We're going to get on the horn with them and express our concerns, and then hopefully they're going to be able to help us out down in Juneau. There may be other options in the future for the state with income generation. Let's see where that goes. A lot of controversy there.
This is Ryan Grimes reporting.
Last year, KTVF reported on a scam in the Fairbanks area that involved false information regarding the Publishers Clearinghouse. Well, now there's another scam in the area, and Mike Schultz has more on that.
Scam last year offered $855,000 and a new truck to one senior citizen. However, this lady was smart and knew it was too good to be true. This year, another lady has been approached by phone and continually harassed until she finally had enough, and she decided to go to someone who could investigate the supposed winning prizes of cash and a new Mercedes. Margaret Stone knew something was up, so she played along with the scam.
But I got a phone call one day, and the first words out of his mouth was, "You won a big prize. You won thousands of dollars." And I says, "Really? How come? I didn't play the lottery." It's when the time the lottery was coming through. I says, "I didn't play the lottery. How did you get my name and number?" And he says, well, he talked a little bit more as we went on, and he says, I said, "Well, then how did you get my phone number, my number?" He says, "Through my credit card." And I said, "What do you mean credit card?" I said, he said, "You spent it at the stores." And I said, "What stores?" And then he gave me this number. He says, "This is your prize number." And I said, "Well, how did you get me?" He said, "Again, through the credit card." I wanted to make sure that he did that. And then he gave me another number to call. This is his phone number, this number here that I gave him. And then this was my prize number. And he says, "Well, we need $400 for that." And I says, "Why $400? He says, "That's so that we could have the plane fare to come and give it to you."
By the way, an airplane ticket from Jamaica to Alaska is more than $1,000, not $400. Officer Doug Wellborn with the Fairbanks Police Department says these scams are occurring quite frequently in the Fairbanks area.
So we get multiple reports a week, normally in the range of 2 to 4 a week, from residents claiming to receive calls from people that claim that they're part of a sweepstakes or a clearinghouse of some sort, and you've won a car, you've won a lump sum of cash, and all we need you to do is pay the prize fees, which are usually somewhere between $350 and $600. They'll typically ask you to go to a local store, such as a grocery store, or get a green dot card, or send money through Western Union. They are scams.
So the bottom line is, if it's too good to be true, it normally is. Mike Schultz reporting.
All right, Joe Cook is next and has some of the top stories and plays from another full week of local sports in the Weekend Recap.
We'll be right back.
Hello, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here in the Sports Seat for you this Monday evening with the weekend recap. There were a number of standout performances from interior athletes this past week, but one that stands out is what North Pole product Martha Hood did in the pool for UAF. The sophomore became the fastest sprint swimmer in Alaska state history. Sunday in Federal Way, Washington at the Husky Invitational, Hood swam her 50-meter split in the 100-meter freestyle in 26.58 seconds. That time broke a 16-year-old USA Swimming Alaska state record set by Maria Reeves. Led by Hood's feat, UAF placed 10th out of 36 teams with only 4 swimmers in 8 events. And there were mirages in the past, but Saturday, the UAF women's basketball team ended a long desert-like drought against the Seattle Pacific Falcons. Fast forward to 8 seconds left in this one, and Jaylee Mays, she pulls off a clutch and one play to give UAF a 57-56 lead as she hits the free throw. She had 14 points. Then Jordan Wilson, she made a huge play on defense, drawing an offensive foul, and then she was fouled after that play, and then she went to the line with 2 seconds left, so a huge play there. She made 1 of 2 from the charity stripe. She finished with 15 points, but she rebounded her miss to end the game. Alaska ends a 27-game losing streak to SPU. It's their first win over SPU in 14 years. UAF improves to 9-11 overall, 7-3 at home, where they have won 4 straight. Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, they host rival UAA, the #1 ranked team in the country. The men's basketball team, they came back from 16 points down, but lost 59-64 at number 8 Western Oregon on Saturday. Javonte Williams and Brandon Davis combined for 31 points as Alaska held the Wolves to a season-low 64 points. UAF is now tied for 3rd in the GNAC at 7-3, and they are 13-5 overall. Fairbanks Ice Dogs made a statement against the Minnesota Wilderness on Friday night with an 8-3 blowout win. Saturday night, the Wilderness, they rebutted after a scoreless first period. 5 goals were tallied in the second period alone. But Minnesota, they led 3-2 going into the 3rd period. Tyler Tomberlin, he tied it at 3 apiece with a penalty shot to start the 3rd. Wonderful move there. But Kobe Bender got the game winner at the 10-minute mark for the Wilderness, who will go on to win 5-3. The divisional rivals split, but the Ice Dogs still hold an 8-point lead in the division, and they are 2nd in the NEHL. They host Kenai River this week in a 3-game series starting on Thursday. Now we go to high school hoops in Delta Junction at the Dean's Cummings tournament. The Hutchinson girls faced Valdez for the title. It was the 3rd meeting between the teams. They split the first 2 games. It was all Hutch in the first half as they swarmed the Bucks with a full-court press. They led by 20 points. Cece Tate, she led the Hawks with 17 points. Taya Titus added 16, and Brooke Carter scored 14 timely points. Bobby Mott had a game-high 20 points for the Valdez Buccaneers, who cut it to 10 in the 4th. But Hutch, they win this one 61-49, and Tate was named MVP.
We just came out strong and never laid up and just attacked the basket to get them in foul trouble.
I was actually glad that I hit all my shots and I was strong with the ball for the first time. We have a young team, but we're working good together with our speed.
In the boys' title game, Monroe and Delta dueled for the title. The gym was buzzing with energy for this matchup as the top Aurora Conference teams had their first meeting of the year. Delta used their home crowd in the play of Raul Riviera and Martise Blankenship, who led them with 17 points as they led 13-9 after the first quarter. The Rams weathered the raucous crowd and got a huge lift from 6-man Gavin Jackson. Jackson, the sophomore, scored a career-high 25 points to lead Monroe to a 60-41 win over the Huskies. Jackson was also named MVP.
We were all doing good. I just wanted to do it for my team, and we just started going, picking it up, and we did good. Defense, everything.
In this type of an atmosphere, team gets out up, on you by about 6 points. It could go the other way in a hurry, and our kids just stayed the course.
And it's still January, but here's one of the best editions of the I-5 Interior Top 5 Plays of the year.
Starting off at number 5, freshman Hutchinson guard Cece Tate finishes a tough and one play after a Taya Titus steal against Valdez. Hutch wins 61-49 to win the Dean Cummings girls title. Number 4, Liam Sturtzinger doesn't need much to score. He finds a slim window under the goalie's skate for a power play goal in an 8-3 win over the Minnesota Wilderness on Friday night. Number 3, Monroe sophomore guard Gavin Jackson goes crazy for a career-high 25 points, hitting 7 threes to lead the Rams to a 61-40 victory at Delta in the Dean Cummings title game. For the number 2 play, Jaylee Mays somehow hits this shot amongst the trees and draws the foul with 8 seconds left to give UAF a 57-56 lead over SPU. Alaska wins by 2, ending a 14-year losing streak to the Falcons. At number 1, West Valley's Daniel Hornbuckle pulls a Reggie Miller. He scores 5 points in the final 5 seconds to lift the Wolfpack to a 65-63 win over Colony in the Old Brady's Invitational on Thursday. He finished with a game-high 37 points. To vote for the play of the week, click on your favorite play on the I-5 poll on webcenter11.com. You can also comment on the KTVF Facebook and YouTube post and at KTVF11 Sports on Twitter for your vote. The play of the week will be revealed this Friday.
The I-5 Sports Report is brought to you by Adient Orthopedic Physical Therapy.
And that'll do it for sports tonight. Thanks for watching. Mike Schultz is next with weather, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back in. Mike Schultz with you once again, talking about the weather. Hope you had yourself a good weekend. All in all, it was pretty nice. A little chilly. Temperatures are continuing to warm up. And in tonight's forecast, here's what we're looking at. Above normal temperatures are going to continue. We're also talking about aurora level is at 4 tonight, so maybe a good chance to see some auroras. And the bad air is hovering over the North Pole in the Fairbanks area. In fact, so bad that we have ourselves an air quality alert expiring through tomorrow, 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Fairbanks is in stage 2, unhealthy for sensitive groups. North Pole is at stage 3, just flat out unhealthy. So keep that in mind if you have children or folks with respiratory problems. Our satellite picture, as you can see, everything is coming out of the southeast. And when it comes out of the southeast, the Alaska Range blocks all the moisture from getting in here. We do have some moisture falling across the Prince William Sound area and the Kenai Peninsula. And the overall picture for Alaska is showing once again Juneau looking at 39 degrees, some showers. Nice day in Ketchikan, 46 degrees, even though they've got some showers there. Anchorage, partly cloudy skies, showers around the Kodiak region with 38 degrees. Cold Bay, 37 cloudy skies. Up and down the west coast, not too bad. 21 at Bethel, 26 at Nome. And then jumping across the North Slope there, 1 degree below zero. Barrow, that's pretty warm there too. Fort Yukon, pretty chilly though, 11 degrees below zero. Lower 48 weather, but the big storm is out of the way for the East Coast. As you can see, a smaller storm moving across the Great Lakes, but the major system is off the coast there, and finally the snows have stopped. A new system moving ashore the Pacific Northwest might bring a little bit of rain shower activity. As you can see here, just some spotty showers expected over the next couple of days over the northeast, giving the folks the chance to dig out of the snows. And the overall jet stream is not really going to be showing any kind of major storm systems because it's just zonal, moving from the west to the east. Time once again for our kids' weather. A new school this week. We're going to be talking with the kids from Two Rivers Elementary School. Tonight, here's a young lady with a story.
I was in Japan, and I was with my mom and dad, and my grandma, and I was trying to go home, but rain started pouring, and the wind was so hard that I barely could go front. Well, took a long time to go home.
And again, thanks to Mount McKinley Bank for sponsoring our kids' weather. Tomorrow night, a young man will be here with a great picture he's drawn of a tornado. Time for our forecast for the northern sections tomorrow. Mostly cloudy skies across the Barrow area, partly cloudy to clear skies around Fort Yukon. More cloudy skies around the Nome area. Over the interior sections, looking at just scattered clouds at Fairbanks. Some cloudy skies at Delta Junction. A few isolated showers are possible in the Healy area. Over southeast Alaska, we're looking at windy conditions with rain from Juneau all the way down to Ketchikan. And out to the southwest, it looks like mainly rain and snow showers at Bethel, rain showers in Cold Bay and Kodiak. And around the Anchorage Bowl, we're looking at partly cloudy skies at Anchorage and rain and snow showers for Homer with rain in Valdez. Out the airport right now, here's what it looks like. Our numbers, 9 degrees after a high of 10 today. The low last night, 9 below. The record high, 45 in 1991. 1911, 62 below. Our sunrise and sunset, 6 hours and 9 minutes. A gain of 6 minutes from yesterday. And the forecast for tonight, partly cloudy skies. Not as cold as it has been the last couple nights. Warmer in the hills because of the inversion going on. Tomorrow, 22 degrees. Warming up very nicely. Partly cloudy, considerably warm. And the 5-day outlook, as you can see, temperatures warming all the way through Saturday, then cooling back down again by Sunday. No precipitation in the forecast. Overnight lows will also once again be above normal for this time of year. Forecast, or I should say, our picture for tonight, a very nice one, sent in by Karen Southwood from the Anderson area. Was able to capture this beautiful aurora. And as always, if you have a photograph, share, send it to photos@ktvf11.com. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it looks like a painting, Mike. Yeah. It's pretty good. Okay, thank you. And that will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We're glad you could join us.
Tonight at NBC Nightly News, even though the storm has ended, the Jersey Shore area is still struggling with flooding. That's up next with Lester Holt.
Be sure and join our good friend J.R. Lewis tomorrow morning for news updates during the Today Show.
From all of us here at the News Center, have a good night.
Good night.